Number 1. You've released the unnecessary load you once carried. You've freed yourself not by running away, but by letting go of what never belonged to you in the first place. And this conscious release is no longer just an inner choice, it now reflects in your outer presence. The invisible pressure of old expectations, the demand to always meet other people's standards, the hidden weight of past wounds, all of that once shaped your posture, your voice, even the way you breathed. But something within has shifted. You no longer take on the unresolved pain of others, nor do you bow under the heaviness of roles that were never yours to begin with. You stopped confusing self-sacrifice with love and silence with peace. Instead, you made a sacred vow to return home to yourself. You began pulling back your energy from people and situations that consumed your strength without giving anything nourishing in return. And in that reclaiming, you've restored the natural rhythm of your soul. The moment you stopped living in survival mode, your body also stopped fighting against time. Your being relaxed into the present moment. Your shoulders softened, your breathing deepened, and your spirit began shining through with renewed clarity. Stress, guilt, resentments, these are poisons we unconsciously carry, and they shape our skin, our voice, our aura. When you put them down, what remains is purity, lightness, and vibrancy. Letting go does not mean you stopped caring. It means you care enough about your own sacred path to stop living as if it's your duty to rescue everyone else. You stopped performing. You stopped pretending. And you started protecting the peace you worked so hard to find. That peace cannot be manufactured by creams or treatments. It's a kind of inner youthfulness that no external product can create. People now look at you and say, "You're glowing." But what they truly see is freedom. They see someone who made peace with her past, who re-established her boundaries, who walks through life with lightness. You appear younger, not because the years ignored you, but because your soul remembered its original rhythm. You let go of what never belonged to you, and by rising higher, you transcended the weight that once kept you bound. Music number 2. Your energy has shifted from being drained to being magnetic. You are magnetic, not exhausted, because you no longer allow your spirit to be siphoned by patterns, places, or people who misalign with your truth. You've learned that not every person deserves access to your light. That lesson alone has preserved your vitality. In a world that glorifies overgiving and celebrates exhaustion as proof of value, you have chosen a higher path, the path of intentional presence. You no longer scatter your energy trying to convince others of your worth. You no longer fight to be noticed in spaces where your spirit feels unseen. Instead, you have become a quiet beacon, not by pushing harder, but by honoring your natural flow. This magnetism is not ego, nor is it performance. It arises from spiritual harmony when your inner being aligns with your outer actions. When your energy is rooted in truth, people sense it before you even speak. They feel the calm radiating from you, the peace that you embody. That calm is not weakness, it is power. It is the steady strength of someone who no longer sacrifices inner clarity just to satisfy outer noise. You are not drained anymore, because you stopped hustling for connection. Now you attract connection naturally. You are not exhausted anymore, because you stopped explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You are not depleted, because you created boundaries that protect your emotional well-being. You no longer leak your life force into relationships or responsibilities that ask you to shrink. And because of that, your face glows, your eyes remain bright, and your presence feels renewed. True magnetism isn't charm, it's alignment. It's the natural aura of a person who is no longer trying to be liked, but is fully alive in being themselves. You enter a space and people notice, not because you demand attention, but because your spirit naturally holds it. While others exhaust themselves by performing and pleasing, you remain centered, replenished, and real. That type of energy does not age. It grows deeper. The reason you seem younger than your years is because you stopped draining yourself for approval. Instead, you radiate from your soul's truth. Number 3. You live in the present, not in the past. And this choice alone is revolutionary. The past, when left unresolved, becomes a heavy burden that ages us from within. But you chose a different path. You no longer define yourself by old pain, old stories, or old versions of who you once were. You stopped letting memory dictate your mindset. Instead, you shifted your focus to what is real, alive, and present. This presence is uncluttered, vibrant, and it shines through your being. Many people live haunted by heartbreak, betrayal, or guilt. They replay conversations that ended long ago. They revisit decisions they cannot change. And in doing so, they dim their light. But you broke this cycle. You realized you cannot rewrite the past, and you stopped measuring your worth by it. You discovered that forgiveness, not fixation, is the gateway to freedom. You forgave others, not to excuse them, but to unchain yourself. You forgave yourself, not to erase, but to grow. And through that release, you made space for joy, spontaneity, and real life to enter. Living in the present doesn't mean you deny what hurt you. It means you refuse to let it define you. This practice of presence brings softness to your face and peace to your energy. You are no longer rushing into the future with fear, nor stuck in nostalgia. You are here grateful, alive, grounded. This awareness slows down time internally, and your body follows that rhythm. The body remembers pain, but it also remembers healing. And you taught your body a new rhythm by choosing now instead of then. People feel it when they meet you. There's a timelessness about your energy, not because you haven't lived, but because you've lived and let go. You embraced the sacred power of presence, and in doing so, you discovered a kind of youthfulness that isn't surface, it's soul deep. Number 4. You've reawakened your inner child, and this return is not simply nostalgia, it is restoration, a sacred homecoming to the version of yourself that existed before the world told you how to be. That inner child, once buried beneath responsibilities and disappointments, is now alive again, curious, playful, filled with wonder. And this vitality shines through your eyes, your smile, your entire presence. You smile differently now, not out of habit or politeness, but from genuine joy. You laugh with your whole body, not just your lips. You notice beauty in the smallest of things, the sound of the wind, the glow of the sun, the rhythm of a song. That sense of wonder is not childish, it is divine. The inner child is not a relic of memory, it is a blueprint of authenticity. It holds the wisdom of feeling deeply, loving openly, and dreaming without limits. When you're reconnected with that part of yourself, you restored your soul's original tone, the one that existed before fear, before conditioning, before masks. Most people grow up by hardening, by closing down, by numbing their sensitivity. But you have done the opposite. You softened. You allowed yourself to feel again, to play again, to imagine again without fearing judgment. That is why you appear younger, not simply because your body rests, but because your spirit is free. The inner child does not age the way adults do, because it lives without fear of time. It lives in flow. And you stepped back into that flow the moment you stopped believing joy must be earned or rest must be deserved. You remembered that freedom is your birthright, not something to be granted by others, but something you reclaim by honoring your innocence. This doesn't make you naive, it makes you wise in a deeper way, a wisdom that knows play is medicine, that laughter is healing. Your lightness is not ignorance, it is mastery, and when people meet you, they do not just see someone who looks youthful, they feel someone who lives youthful, who loves with openness, who walks with a heart that remains unclosed. That is rare, that is radiant, and that is why your very presence feels like sunlight, warm, timeless, alive. Number 5, you allowed yourself to feel what others bury. And this sacred courage has not etched itself into your face with tension, it has etched itself into your energy with light. While many people spend lifetimes suppressing pain, numbing discomfort, and pretending the past never touched them, you chose the more difficult path, the path inward, toward the wounds, toward the truths that once terrified you. Asterisk, you faced your darkness with open eyes. You did not run, you sat with it. You listened to what it wanted to teach you. You didn't only speak about healing, you embodied it. You gave grief a voice. You gave anger a safe space. You allowed shame to breathe and transform. And by doing this, you reclaimed the life energy that had long been trapped in silence. Asterisk, you brought light to the hidden places, not to fix them, but to free them. And this liberation, though invisible to the eye, radiates from you like a calm glow that makes people pause. They look at you and wonder why you seem so grounded, so peaceful, so untouched by time. The truth is, you didn't avoid life. You absorbed it. You digested it. You transformed heartbreak into wisdom, betrayal into boundaries, scars into symbols of survival. Others age quickly because what they suppress never disappears. It lingers. It ferments. It shows up in bitterness, in tension, in heaviness. But you feel light because you release the emotional weight others carry silently. You are soft, not because life spared you, but because you chose softness anyway. You shine, not because storms never reached you, but because you became the stillness within them. This kind of healing rewrites your body's story. It softens the eyes. It opens the posture. It clears the furrows that years of unspoken pain could have carved. You walk differently now. You breathe deeper. You love cleaner. People around you may not know what you endured, but they feel what you became. They sense peace that only comes from having faced the fire and emerged whole. You appear younger, not because time skipped over you, but because you had the courage to transform what others hide. And that courage has become your glow. Number 6. You are aligned with purpose. And this alignment is the quiet fuel behind your radiance. The unseen current that keeps your spirit energized, your thoughts clear, and your body vibrant with intention. Purpose is not just a profession or passion, it is frequency. It is the soul's rhythm that your heart recognizes, and your body follows. When you move in harmony with your purpose, life begins to flow. Choices clarify, relationships deepen, energy becomes focused rather than scattered. You stopped waking just to survive. Now you rise with meaning in your bones, with direction in your steps, with devotion in your heart. This clarity reflects outward. It softens your face. It lights up your eyes. It gives a grace to your movements that cannot be imitated. People sense the difference, even if they cannot explain it. They feel that you are not merely existing, you are living with intention. That alignment removes the exhaustion of constantly being off track, the tension of trying to impress, the stress of searching for validation. Instead of chasing, you attract. Instead of forcing, you flow. And in that flow, the body eases, the nervous system rests, and a natural vitality rises. Purpose is the greatest anti-aging force because it aligns soul and action. It erases the inner friction that wears people down. The reason you appear younger than your years is because you are not weighed down by confusion or regret. Your spirit walks in harmony with its calling. You no longer compare your path to others. You honor your own. You understand now that success is not noise, not numbers, it is resonance. And when your life resonates with your soul, time bends in your favor. You appear youthful, not by resisting age, but by syncing with the timeless rhythm of your essence. People see it in youth, a glow of someone who knows why they are here, the calm of someone who lives in truth, the peace of someone guided by purpose. Number 7. You now choose peace over chaos. And this is not a one-time choice, it is a daily decision. Sometimes quiet, sometimes difficult, but always powerful. It means you no longer allow your nervous system to be hijacked by every storm outside of you. The world celebrates busyness, drama, and constant reactivity. But you chose something different. You became intentional with your energy, your environment, and your boundaries. You discovered that peace is not weakness, it is power. It is the refusal to let another person's disorder shape your state of being. And this commitment shows up in subtle but profound ways. In the softness of your voice, the ease of your skin, the calm in your presence. You walk differently now, not like someone fighting invisible battles, but like someone who has made peace their anchor. Choosing peace doesn't mean your life is always calm. It means you carry calm with you. It means you stepped off the roller coaster of emotional turbulence that most people mistake for love or connection. You stopped seeking closure in places filled with chaos. You no longer trade your sanity to win arguments that cost your soul. You realized your spirit was not designed to live in constant triggers, constant noise, constant battle. And as you created more space for stillness, reflection, and healing, your body responded. Your breath slowed, your shoulders relaxed, your face softened. That's why you look younger, because stress, resentment, and reactivity carve deep lines, while real peace heals them. You learn to pause before responding, to disengage from noise without guilt, to guard your clarity as if it were sacred. You no longer attend every conflict you're invited to. You no longer mistake chaos for passion or urgency for importance. Now, when people encounter you, they sense safety, they sense steadiness, they sense a presence not easily shaken. That kind of peace is rare, magnetic, and deeply nourishing. For you, peace is not optional, it is a lifestyle, and nothing preserves your vitality more than living aligned with calm and clarity. Number 8, you are spiritually awake. And this awakening has transformed the way you walk through life. It is not about perfection or pretending you no longer struggle. It is about awareness, consistent, grounded awareness. You see beyond appearances, beyond noise, beyond surface level games people play to hide from their pain. This deeper perception brings a stillness to your being, a wisdom in your eyes, a softness in your energy that feels timeless, while others move unconsciously, running after validation and chasing fear. You have chosen again and again to wake up. Each boundary, each breath, each choice reflects that awakening. You now understand how energy works, how intention shapes reality, and how your inner state molds outer outcomes. You stopped giving your power to systems, stories, or people who once dictated who you should be, and in reclaiming your power, you returned to essence, light, love, and presence. That essence shines outward, not as a performance, but as truth. People feel it when they meet you. You don't glow because of clothes, or status, or speech. You glow because you are aligned with soul. You've learned to observe without absorbing, to feel without collapsing, to navigate life with spirit, fully present. This conscious awareness renews you. You are no longer wasting energy, resisting reality, or pretending to be asleep. You see the lessons in everything. You welcome you live in gratitude, and this alignment keeps your vibration high, your heart open, your body light. You don't appear youthful because you chase youth, you do because you embody presence. You no longer carry the weight of denial or pretense. You carry awareness, and with that comes clarity, compassion, and peace. Spiritual awakening means you stopped living from the outside in. You now live from the inside out. That kind of freedom is the most timeless beauty. Number 9, you no longer fake your light, you embody it. And that embodiment is what makes your presence unforgettable. Many people imitate joy, perform confidence, broadcast curated versions of happiness, but you live from truth, without apology, without disguise. Your light is not a performance. It is the frequency of deep self-acceptance. It comes from the peace that arrives when you no longer seek permission to shine. You stopped bending yourself to match what the world wanted. You returned to your original brilliance. That is why your glow is steady, calm, radiant, Not loud, not forced. It doesn't demand attention, it attracts it. You have walked through shadows, faced pain, transformed wounds into wisdom, and your power is not control, it is presence. When you enter a room, you don't need to prove, to hide, or to seek. You simply are, and people feel safe with you, because there is no performance, only presence. That authenticity is rare, and it is ageless. This beauty does not come from trends or images. It comes from alignment between soul and choice, values and actions. While others feel drained from pretending, you are nourished by being real. You no longer dim yourself to keep others comfortable. You no longer exaggerate positivity to appear okay. Instead, you let your light speak quietly through your boundaries, through your consistency, through your silence. That is why you appear youthful, because you are no longer weighed down by the labor of pretending. You smile now from your soul, not from obligation. You no longer chase joy, you are joy. And in a world where many shine just enough to be noticed, you chose to shine fully, because you are no longer afraid of being authentic. You are not trying to be light, you are light, because you removed the masks, the fears, the falsehoods, and that kind of embodiment does not age, it deepens, it grows magnetic with time. Those who encounter you don't just see your glow, they feel it, because it is not a mask, but a mirror of truth. And truth does not grow old. Number 10. You are becoming ageless because you have remembered who you are. Not who society told you to be. Not the roles you were assigned. Not the masks you once wore to feel acceptable. You remembered the truth that existed before time, before trauma, before titles. You remembered the essence that is infinite. This remembrance is not intellectual. It is not theory. It is a quiet homecoming that happens when you stop chasing your identity outside yourself and begin reclaiming it within. You are no longer bound by timelines or by shrinking definitions of success and beauty. You stopped measuring your worth through approval, through numbers, through achievements. And in that radical shift, time itself loosened its grip on you. Now, you walk with a presence that defies age, a grace that makes people pause, not because of your appearance, but because of what you radiate, an inner knowing that you are infinite, that your spirit cannot expire. This knowing reflects outward in ways no product, no procedure, no external effort can match. Your skin glows not from chemicals, but from clarity. Your smile softens, not from avoidance, but from self-acceptance. Your eyes shine, not from artificial youth, but from truth. You remember that you are not your past, not your pain, not even your body. You are something timeless, something boundless. And in that remembering, you began to reverse the spiritual aging that comes from forgetting. You reclaimed joy as your birthright, curiosity as your compass, authenticity as your strength. You stopped performing and started being, and that being is magnetic. People see you and wonder how you stay vibrant. But the answer isn't found in routines or rituals, it's in your soul. You remembered your divinity. You remembered your light. You remembered that life is not about fitting into molds, but about expressing truth in each step, each breath, each choice. That remembrance itself is your fountain of youth. It keeps you expanding instead of shrinking. While others rush to preserve what they think is fading, you shine because you remembered the eternal part of yourself, and that truth never ages. Music number 11. You have mastered surrender, not the kind that gives up, but the kind that trusts. You no longer cling to control over every outcome. You understood that grasping ages the spirit, while surrender frees it. When you stopped fighting against life, your body followed. It relaxed. It healed. It began to reflect the ease of your spirit. Most people resist what is. They fight against reality, against change, against time itself. But you have learned the wisdom of release. You no longer wrestle with seasons, you flow with them. You no longer fear endings, you trust them as beginnings in disguise. This surrender has lightened you. People see it in the way you move, the way you speak, the way you hold space. You appear younger not because you hold on to life, but because you allow life to hold you. Number 12. You honor balance. Balance between giving and receiving, between action and rest, between solitude and connection. While many collapse into extremes, you've found rhythm. And this balance is not forced, it is embodied. When you give with presence. When you rest fully. When you connect, you are truly there. That balance sustains your energy. It keeps you from burning out. It keeps your spirit fresh, your presence whole. This balanced way of living shows on your face, in your tone, in your aura, because imbalance carves stress into the body, while balance restores harmony to it. Number 13. You embody gratitude. And gratitude is one of the most transformative forces in existence. It reorients your perception. It turns lack into fullness, chaos into lesson, ordinary moments into miracles. You no longer rush past life searching for what's missing. You pause and honor what's here. Gratitude softens your energy, brightens your face, and keeps your heart open. It transforms aging into ripening. It turns survival into celebration. When people look at you, they sense that your glow doesn't come from perfection. It comes from appreciation that is timeless. Number 14. You lead with love. Not the fragile kind that depends on being loved back. Not the transactional kind that gives only to receive, but a deeper love rooted in your own wholeness. You give love because it is who you are. This kind of love expands you. It softens you. It preserves your vitality. It transforms every space you enter. People feel safe near you, not because you have all the answers, but because you radiate compassion. Love is the highest frequency, and living in it keeps your spirit youthful, not by avoiding pain, but by transforming it into presence. Number 15. You live with intention. You no longer move through life unconsciously, repeating patterns that dim the soul. Each step is deliberate. Each choice is aligned. Each day carries meaning. Living intentionally has slowed your inner clock. You are no longer wasting energy on distractions that do not matter. Instead, you invest in what nourishes your growth, your joy, your peace. And this intentional way of living makes you appear ageless, because your energy is no longer scattered, it is focused, luminous. Finally. Number 16. You embody freedom. Freedom from roles that once confined you. Freedom from wounds that once defined you. Freedom from illusions that once blinded you. This freedom is not rebellion, it is alignment. It is walking as your true self without apology. It is breathing without fear, loving without conditions, existing without masks. And when people meet you, they feel it, they sense it. They recognize that your glow does not come from resisting age, but from embodying life. You appear ageless, not because time forgot you, but because you remembered yourself. You remembered peace. You remembered play. You remembered healing. You remembered purpose. You remembered love. And in remembering, you became timeless.